Hello everyone, it's Andrew from GemTCG, and today's video I'm going to be talking about reprints and why they don't actually matter as much as you may think, especially for the long term. Now I know short term, if a set gets a reprint, oftentimes it'll tank the price or at least have a somewhat significant price drop temporarily, and that is not really what I'm going to be focusing on for this video, but rather 1 to 2 plus years down the line, how a reprint actually affects a set or the price of the set. And I'm going to be talking about sealed booster boxes only and maybe ETBs. I'm not talking about the actual singles of the set because I know that reprints dramatically tank the single costs. And that's just because more supply gets on the market, people keep opening it, more cards get on the market, and then it makes the prices lower. And a lot of people panic sell them, all that. So I'm not really going to be talking about that. I'm just going to be focusing on sealed product and how reprints don't affect it as much as you may think. And to not get too scared when people say, oh, this product is being reprinted to the ground and it's going to tank, all that stuff. And one example that I wanted to specifically talk about that I thought of when I was thinking of this video was Shining Fates. And that set came out when the huge boom of Pokemon was happening during COVID. And it was, at the time, it was a very expensive set. Everyone was chasing it and trying to flip it online. So the price was super high. And Pokemon reprinted that set a ton. At least 5 times, I would say. 5 separate times they reprinted it. And as of today, I'm looking at it right now, the market price is $99. So in that scenario, yes, reprints did have a big effect on it. That huge amount of supply, which I don't think we will ever see again for one single set, definitely caused it to be lower value. Now, $100 is still a lot considering the retail price for it was $45 to $50. So it doubled in a 5-year span, however long it's been out. In actual numbers, it is still good. But if you look at everything we're used to with Pokemon sets going up dramatically, 2x increase doesn't even sound like a lot, which is pretty crazy. So that example, I understand that what I'm going to say in this video doesn't apply to everything. And there are obviously going to be caveats and exceptions to this rule. But then if we look at something like Roaring Skies, which Rudy from Alpha Investments is famous for this. He had a bunch of it when it first came out, and then they did a huge reprint, and nobody was buying it at all because whatever the reason was, nobody was buying it. And I know it was a different market at the time, it's 9 or 10 years ago now, but if you look at Roaring Skies now, the lowest listing on TCG Player is $4,500, and the market price is around $2,400. And that's a set that got huge reprint, and nobody was buying it at the time. They said there was way too much supply of it, and I think it crashed the market. And same with Evolutions. I think the same thing happened for that. They printed that set so much that the market crashed, I think, is what I was told. And then if you look at another set that probably had a normal print run from XY, and I'm looking at Fates Collide, the lowest listing is $3,500 and the market price is $1,700. So even still, with Roaring Skies having a huge reprint and print run, Evolution's doing the same thing, those sets are still very expensive. And in the long run, the reprints that happened did not affect its market price. And if we look at any Sword and Shield era sets, a big example is Chilling Reign. People did not like that. That set was on pretty much clearance when it first came out and when the reprints happened, and nobody was really interested in that set. But over time, if we look at it today, I think it's in the top 5 from the Sword and Shield era, and again proving that the reprints do not impact the market prices in a longer scale. And if you get caught up in focusing on all these reprints, because I think reprints are going to continue happening for this, at least the second half of the Scarlet Violet block. And if you get caught up on this, you're going to hurt your investment. Because when I first started buying sealed product to hold, I was very worried about reprints. And whenever I would hear that a reprint was coming, I wouldn't sell it because I was just like a combination of being lazy to sell and not needing the money, so I just figured I'd hold on to it. But I would kind of panic and it would scare me off from buying more product to invest in. And I wish I would have known this now, but it's hard to know it without experiencing it because I've been in this side for 4+ years now. So I know how the reprints actually affect the market prices in the long run. And that's kind of something you have to learn from experience. And nobody was really talking about it back then. So hopefully this helps you guys. But just know that the reprints will affect the market prices short term. There's no doubt about that. When Prismatic, like right now, Prismatic is being, or had a lot of reprints. The prices of the singles tanked, the sealed product tanked as well. There's no denying that the reprints had an effect on it. But give it a year or two, and Prismatic or any set that has been reprinted or had a big reprint is gonna go up in price, similar to every other set from that block. And another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to reprints is people hear it, they hear the word reprint, and they think it means that there's just going to be millions of product readily available to everyone, and it's just going to be sitting in stores and all that. But most times, that is not the case, and a reprint usually is a very small print run extra. Now, sometimes there are larger scale reprints like the Prismatic one and Shining Fates, and there's other examples I just can't think of, where there's a lot more product being made that they could just ship out and becomes more readily available. And it typically happens with specialty sets, I believe, or at least from what I've noticed in my experience, is that the specialty sets are more easily reprinted because it's ETBs instead of booster boxes, and it's a lot of those miscellaneous products, so Pokemon can make more profit from those products rather than just doing booster boxes that only get sold at card stores or to people that have distributor access. So most times when you hear of a reprint happening, you have to wait and see how much is actually being reprinted and what is actually happening in the market, because as far as I know, they don't say how much they're actually reprinting. They don't announce it, but you can hear it through the grapevine or whatever it's called and see, does this person that usually gets nothing, now they have 100 ETBs available to sell. That's how you can tell if a reprint had a big effect. Or you could just talk to a local card store and see, hey, did you guys have a big reprint or was it just a case or two? And then you can gauge how big it was based on that. So overall, don't get too caught up in reprints happening if you plan to do this for the long run. And my best piece of advice that I can give to you guys is just when you hear of a reprint and you see it have a dramatic effect on the current market price, that should be your time to buy it up and buy a bunch of them, because the best investment you can make is when everyone is panic selling and operating out of fear, and then you go in more like I guess bravely, or you just buy up what they're selling, because one, you will get it at a discount because everyone's just trying to dump it, and two, it's weird, but you're kind of timing the bottom, because when a reprint happens, the fear comes in and then the prices drop, and then you are getting in at this level, and sure, it could go down a little bit more, but you're getting in near the bottom. Whereas if you were to just buy it regularly, you could buy it in the middle, you could buy it at the peak, or you could just get lucky and buy it at the bottom. But when you buy it, when a reprint happens, you are at least operating on a point where it's like, it almost can't get worse from here. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't like buying things when everything is going well and people are saying, oh, this is the next best set. This set is going to go to $500. I don't like buying into that because I don't think it ever works out. But what I do like doing is buying into things when people are just dumping it, or people are saying there's a reprint happening, because I know that I'm getting a good deal and the downside is much lower. Because if you buy, let's just say, I don't know, I haven't looked at the market for booster boxes right now, but let's just say Surging Sparks is $250. Your downside on buying it at $250 is $80, which is probably a 30% downside. But if you were to buy, I don't know what the actual price is, but let's just say Paldea Evolved is $500. Your downside on that is $200 or $300, assuming these prices will not go below 160. That's kind of my logic right there, if that makes sense. So when you buy something that has already gone down in price and it's at a lower market price, there is less downside risk and then there's more upside potential, because booster boxes are not going to go down below 160. They're probably not going to ever go down below 200. I'm just giving a benefit of the doubt right there. But we've seen it already happen. Booster boxes have hit $2,500, $3,000 in the span of 5 to 10 years. So when you look at it like that, as long as you play your cards right, you have patience when it comes to your investments, and almost operate on a gut instinct rather than listening to other people give their opinion on what set is going to go up, what set is going to go down, you will do a lot better in the long run than if you did the opposite of those suggestions. So just try to keep that in mind when you're buying product to hold on to, and also buy things that you like, because from what I've noticed, when I think a card is really good or I think a set is really good and I make that kind of bet on it, it usually performs better than if I were to just buy anything randomly. And I don't know, I think it's just, if you think something is cool, someone else probably thinks it too, and probably a bunch of other people think that as well. So just remember that. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know what you guys think about reprints and how it affects the market price long term. If you agree or disagree, I will see you all in the next video.